Hello friends, and welcome to today's video. I have finally completed my passport coffee journal insert, and I am ready to do a full finished flip through for you. So let's get into what's in this journal. I have a lot of pockets and storage here. This first one is the card holder zipper insert from 𝘕𝘓𝘬𝘳𝘕. I had some cards as deco before, and then during the summer, my friend Emily printed some Instax for me. These are a combination of my and her pens, and then some lattes that we matched and paired the pens with because it was just so pretty. So that has been here as my front deco. On the back, I just have some business cards and another photo. I will collect business cards from coffee shops and put them in here, intending to use them in the actual journal, but then I forget, and so they've just kind of started collecting. And then here I have a photo of my Café Crema Sailor pen, and my typical drink at home for coffee is a brown sugar latte. And so when I made my typical coffee and saw the exact layers of the pen, it was just perfection. Next, I have a 𝘕𝘓𝘬𝘳𝘕 𝘕𝘓, I believe is how you pronounce it. I like to use mine backwards. So usually this would be flipped and used the other way, so that this envelope pocket would be first. But here I have it reversed, so 𝘕𝘓, I believe, is how you pronounce it. And I don't really store anything on either side. The zipper pocket doesn't have anything right now, and the envelope pocket doesn't have anything either. Here I have some more ephemera that I have forgotten to use. I usually always have extra or multiple types of ephemera from coffee shops anyways, so I don't always need to use them up. But the main reason I have the plastic cover or insert on either end was to protect this 𝘕𝘓 insert from any color transfer of the leather, just in case. This is one of my very first TNs, and so I had seen and heard about leather transfer. It happens more so with the black and blue. I haven't noticed it with any camels, but I just wanted to be safe. So next, here is the star of the show, the insert. This is the Starbucks Reserve Roastery Tokyo insert. I got the insert from 𝘕𝑚𝑛𝑢𝑘𝑠ℎ𝑢𝑘 Japan. You can shop his Instagram page and purchase through DMs. So let's take this out for better viewing. The first inner page I decorated, I was able to cut this out from one of the diary guides. The little ephemera here too is also from the diary guide that I cut out and used as deco. And I just love the saying here: if you have a traveler's notebook and a cup of coffee, you are at the Traveler's Cafe. And then here I used some alphabet stamps and some pet tapes and stickers to kick off this journal. So when I first started this journal, I was really inspired by Amanda Lay Plans on Instagram, and she had a coffee journal. She would journal about her at-home coffee recipes, Nespresso pods, and cafes. At first I felt I couldn't start a coffee journal because I'm not really visiting any cafes here in Naples, Italy, because cafes and coffee lounging is very different from the US. So in the US, it's perfectly acceptable to bring your laptop to a coffee shop, sit there, hang out, maybe for hours. You could journal there, you could do homework there, and no one would really care. But here in Italy, it's completely different. Coffee bars is what they are. Typically, like how you would at night have an alcoholic beverage at a bar and stand there and kind of sip at your drink, is how you would take your coffee in Italy. You would go to the bar top, order your espresso. If you asked for a cafe, it would be an espresso shot. You would stand there, have your espresso shot, and you would leave. And there isn't even any space to sit down and lounge, so to speak. So it is a completely different coffee culture in Italy. So I started this journal with the intention of just using any coffee stickers, stamps, and PET tape that I had, even if it was just to document some recipes I was doing at home. So I purchased a Nespresso for myself on my birthday, and this is how I started off the insert. I did my usual recipe here, the iced brown sugar oat milk latte with vanilla sweet cream cold foam. If I had a Starbucks near me, that is what my order usually is. Then here, I jumped from, this was May to October, and it was PSL season, and so my friend had sent me pumpkin spice syrup or sauce, and I was making my own at home. Here is when we started traveling, and I went to my first cafe that I documented here, and it was actually a cat cafe, so I love that I was able to use this sticker. This was also part of our trip. I went to a Starbucks. As much as I want to try local coffee shops wherever I'm traveling, I always have to visit a Starbucks as well, because there are no Starbucks where I live in Italy. There's really no Starbucks anywhere because Italy is the birthplace of espresso. So why would anyone want to go to Starbucks when there are so many great and better coffee shops? Anyways, I had a great view at this Starbucks with the astronomical clock in Prague, Czech Republic. Then coming back home and just trying to find things to journal about for my love for coffee, I discovered a brown butter coffee mate creamer. It was so delicious. Every time I'm at my grocery store on our military base, I am hunting for it, and I have never found it since last fall 2022. Another travel coffee spread. This was in 𝘔𝘮𝘢𝘃, Germany at a coffee shop. And then fast forward to a month later, I was able to visit my first Starbucks Reserve Roastery ever in Milan, Italy. Here is just a coffee collage. And then we had a trip to Vienna, and I talked about the coffee culture there. I had no idea that Vienna, Austria was one of the very first places to have a coffee culture. Vienna was one of the first places that I learned had such a huge coffee culture, in terms of it's kind of known that you're gonna have coffee and cake after work, kind of like a little pick-me-up, and so there is a lot of things surrounding coffee there. Coming back to a full year since starting this journal is back to my birthday, and Starbucks had actually opened up locally to us in Naples. It is the one and only one, I believe, out, other than going all the way to Rome, which is 2 hours. So for my birthday, I asked my husband if we could go visit the new Starbucks, and so we did. So as you can see, this is all I had done in a year of just visiting the little coffee shops that I could when we traveled and journaling at home. It is astonishing to me that the rest of this journal was completed in a matter of 3 months from all the coffee shops that I visited in my summer to California. So moving on, here we are is the first spread of when I went to California in the summer, and it was at this local Starbucks down the street from my house. And from there, I just started visiting as many coffee shops as I could, different ones, just to experiment and try new things and experience small business coffee shops. There is High Tide Coffee Shop, and this was a stamp that I just knew I had to purchase because I knew going to California my goal was going to be coffee hopping and trying different places, and so this cafe hunting stamp has been perfect to really showcase that. Here is a flight I drew and colored with coffee. This is the photo that I have here in the deco. It was a coffee flight, so 4 different flavors, and they were all different colors, and I used the accent, so for example like lavender or matcha, this was turmeric and rose, and they had them colored to the name, and so I was able to use that here to color in the coffee. Here is another coffee shop. If I don't have any ephemera, I will try to print a picture. I do try to have a picture anyways, even with ephemera. It just takes a little bit longer and some backlogging. So if I can, and I prefer to journal as I'm there at the coffee shop, then I'll just use the receipt, some logoed bags or sleeves. This is just a generic sleeve. Here is another visit to High Tide, and this time I did include a photo, and this is my attempt at avocado toast drawing. Some more Starbucks. I love ordering ahead, like mobile order, and then having the sticker to use. Here was a French cafe, and they had the most beautiful outside patio, and this was when I first purchased my Traveler's Company watercolor palette, so this was my first attempt at watercolor painting. And then a Japanese coffee roaster, a coffee shop near 𝘈𝘮𝘢𝘻 where we waited for our TN covers to be embossed and just enjoy some coffee while we waited. This one was one of the funniest and I purely went to this coffee shop for the ephemera. The coffee was honestly just okay, but it excelled like 100 out of 10 in terms of ephemera. So these are the stickers that are on the cups, and each cup is different and has a different saying. It's funny because I think this is what I got on my cup, and after we sat there for a little bit and when we were leaving, I went to the counter and asked if they had any stickers, and one that was a little bit more risque, like this one. And even their business card was so cute. And this was another sticker that was on the cup. The drink that I got was called Thicky Thick. So that was really fun. Here is another watercoloring one I did. This was on the cup of the hot drink I ordered. This as well was on the hot cup sleeve. And I watercolored this after one of the octopus tentacles on the coffee cup. Here is from Wall Writers. Their aesthetic inside was kind of like graffiti and loose abstract watercolors, so I kind of imitated that here to go along with the vibe of the coffee shop. This is a clear thermal printer that my friend had when we were there together, and so I was able to save the logo online, get it transparent, and then print it using her thermal printer, and it was perfect way to have the logo and look of the shop without any actual ephemera. And then actually I forgot to take photos of our drinks, and so I actually took this photo from their Instagram. Here is Contra Coffee Shop, another place I love for flights. I feel like it's very rare to find a coffee shop that does flights so that you could try multiple things, especially if you're wanting to just experience a coffee shop once because you want to experience others. It can be hard to try different kinds of drinks that you are interested in. So a coffee flight is great, and I wish more coffee shops would do it. So this one's super simple. A lot of the drinks I chose had Thai tea. So there was like a coffee Thai tea cold brew. And so I thought it would be really fun to use my coffee stain stamp and instead do orange for the Thai tea. Here I did a coffee hopping trip with my childhood best friend. She is obsessed with coffee as much as I, and whenever we used to get coffee when we were living back in California, we would always rate them, and so it was fun. This was a very caffeinated day. We went to 4 coffee shops between like 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. We would only get one drink and we would share and split it. So that was really fun. So here was the first shop we went to. There were so many shops we couldn't decide. I actually made a random generator online, and we would tap spin and it would choose the next place for us, and that's what dictated where we went. So this was the second place, and this was the highest rating place. So I don't rate all my coffee shops. I only did it this time, and I think it's something I want to do in my next coffee journal. I think it was really fun to kind of give each one a rating, and I might have some categories in terms of boldness, sweetness, things like that to rate it. Here was the third place. This was the lowest ranking. And then the fourth place we went to. Some more coffee shops, and here I used the sticker from the cup and a business card. I was really surprised by coffee at Disneyland California Adventures, or Disneyland in Anaheim, California. This was from their Star Wars land area, the cold brew black calf, and it had Cocoa Puffs on top with sweet cream, I think cheese foam. It was so delicious. Here are some more business cards. Again, I cut out the logo from the cup. So even if it's not a sticker, if it's like actually designed on the cup, I will save the cup, go home and cut it out. And this too was from a hot cup that I cut out. Here is a coffee sleeve. This was also from the coffee sleeve. And I have a stamp that looks like a receipt, and I love to kind of circle, X out, cross out, and make it look really customized instead of just using the blank stamp like this. This is probably the worst coffee shop I went to that is documented in this journal. I wrote here, the worst coffee shop I've had this trip. It was way too acidic and a very bad espresso shot. Here is a very simple and clean spread, but the writing is on the back. I thought this was really cute to just make this moment stand out, and I copied the font of the coffee shop and then had my thoughts and kind of like what we did on this visit, which was a cafe journaling session. Here I did a little sketch of my drink. This was kind of like a advertisement card that they had at the front counter. And then this one was funny. We saw these stickers from afar from the counter, and we just asked if we could have one, and she gave us so many. Here is one that I printed a photo and used the, I cut out the stamped coffee cup. Here is that stamp again. This is how it looks blank. I have to fill this in still and kind of customize it by circling, crossing things out. Went to Earth Cafe. And then here I kind of copied that spread again of hiding the text behind. And the card itself was white, but then I stamped around it to kind of go on both edges. But then when you open it up, you have a nice blank space for writing. And we are approaching the end here now. And this was one of my last cafe journaling sessions with my friend Emily. So I actually purposefully put this all the way to the back, even though it was July, and then these two visits were afterwards. But I knew I wanted to make this visit at Hidden House a 2-page spread, and so I kind of flipped those spreads around, and it worked perfectly to be the very last one. So there you go, is my coffee journal. I hope you enjoyed this little flip through. I will be moving into my new coffee journal and into a standard insert. So do stay tuned for that video when I set that up. I already have some coffee shops that I need to backlog, and I've been saving ephemera for. So I will be hitting the ground running in that insert. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that your coffee is strong and that you enjoy your cup. Stay caffeinated. Cheers.